Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome back to the free-to-play review. So today's topic is going to be the latest iteration of the summon pool, specifically the Force summon pool, or even more specifically, the an opportunity to get yourself Predator without having to pay for the champion pass. So Predator is, of course, the headline champion this time around, meaning that he's the most likely outcome if you were to get a legendary in the first place, which of course is not the most likely outcome epics are, as we'll get to a bit later. But aside from him, you do have a decent mix of Force Affinity legendaries up for grabs as well. My most wanted non-void is up for grabs here, Gladecat of the Meltwater, so you might be able to guess my motivations relative to the summon pool based on that. But Wixwell is in the pool as well. Lots of people are looking for him after his fusion, after his synergy was proven with Titus and other types of champions, shield growth and whatnot. Pythion's always great support. Sanguine Maria, not as popular as I kind of thought she was going to be. I guess her kit's a little bit too complicated compared to some other complementary type champions, but Valencia is pretty good as well, kind of a like Hydra specialist, but also can flex into the arena a little bit. Preva, I think that's her name. Yeah, Preva, she's a good reviver healer for Demon Spawn. She'd be useful for me, at least. I'm still using Dur the Hunger for Faction Wars. And those are kind of the heavy hitters. I think First Ask Tuskor is okay. He's one of those like extra turn type champion who can kind of cycle through abilities really quickly. I haven't really seen him do much in the meta, but kind of in the same ilk as like Uzol of the Jade, that same kind of thinking where they can kind of pop off if they get a bunch of extra turns. And then Dune Herald Zaharis is very, very underwhelming, but notably he does have a cool passive where you just start the round with increased accuracy on everyone. I kind of want them, a side note here, I want them to add a champion whose passive is to add increased resistance across the entire team. So some sort of tanky healer, reviver, cleanser, or something of that ilk, who just starts off the battle not necessarily with protected, but can start off the battle with increased resistance across the entire team, just to kind of give a little bit of a bonus or a boon to resistance meta in the game. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, decent mix of legendaries, and of course the ultimate prize could be Predator, although depending on how you feel about him in his kit, he may not really be that much of a prize, so grain of salt there. When it comes to the epics, a good mix of some decent options. You have a couple of Lady Mikage epics in there. We have Alyssina in the mix, we have Lady Quillen, we have Fire Gun Isabel, so decent chances to get some Mikage epics if those are the ones you're looking for. But in terms of general utility, Geomancer generally regarded as one of the best PvE epics in the game. Husk, great for like introductory Hydra teams. Rectored Wrath, still one of, if not the best, perfect Veil or / Veil healer reviver epics in the entire game. We've got Doom Priest, her passive is just as strong as it's ever been. Takes a turn and cleanses one debuff and heals a little bit. Aox, typically paired with Geomancer, but a really strong passive to extend debuffs when attacked. Mr. Rider Dahi, super fun to use, a great debuffer for any type of content. Mordecai, one of the few champions in the game who can just place HP burn. It's not a hit, so he's great into Poison Cloud, which could be useful in the Grim Forest, notably against the boss who can cleanse and put Poison Cloud on himself. Neldor, great epic for Fire Knight hard mode. Lots of synergy with other freeze champions to keep that keep his turn meter suppressed. Triple hitter, quad hitter, etc. in his kit. And then last but not least, Zargala, another debuffer, but she's not the best. She's kind of a legacy debuffer, but she can still do some work. Let's say honorable mention to her as well. Another 3-turn cooldown AoE decrease defense champion. So as always, you could get a decent epic depending upon what you need. You could get a decent legendary depending upon what you need, but of course the rates are not in your favor to support that outcome. There's always a chance, of course, but there's a 6% chance that you'll get a legendary. As we talked about, 2% of that is Predator. The other 4% is split amongst these 8 other Force legendaries, but the overwhelming odds are that you're going to walk away with an epic with a 94% chance, so the equivalent of a Sacred Shard. So most Sacred Shards are going to give you an epic, so most likely you're going to get an epic, but you never know. You could get lucky, 6% could proc, and you could walk away with a legendary. But just keep in mind, most likely outcome is that you get an epic. In terms of the air quotes free summon this time around, we can get one from a Gear Ascension Tournament, that being farming the Sand Devil and or the Phantom Shogun's Grove. And my tournament has betrayed me here, but you can tell that I am actually going for this one. We are in between fusions at the moment. There's no Titan event going on right now. Obviously, we're kind of of waiting for the end of the year Yuletide Titan event, so we know that there's not going to be one during this time frame, where the Christmas fusion should be the next fusion, probably starting next week, if I had to guess, based off historical precedent. So we have another week of time to kind of set up and prepare for that. So in the meantime, I'm happy to shoot my shot in this summon pool, go for the air quotes free summon from this tournament, and just see what happens when I open it. So for the next couple of days, getting to 12k is going to be my goal. I don't think I'm going to need to invest gems in terms of energy to get this done, since I'm already halfway and we're about halfway through. But nonetheless, if need be, if I'm at 10,000 on the last day, then I'll just throw some gems into energy to get that done. So I will be going for this no matter what, like I said, just because I have the opportunity to do so, which is kind of rare. But yeah, in between the last few Fusion Titan event situations, I've actually had a decent amount of time to be farming Minotaur, to the point where I'm basically down to like my last two primary champions getting their masteries, and the rest of the champions in the backlog are just like secret room rares that are just like, well, it'd be nice to have Fearsome Presence, but it's not like mandatory that they have it. So I'm in the opportunity where it's like I could spend a couple of days, in this case 3 days, working on some Sandoval, which I also need to do anyways to get some more dust. So I'm happy to sacrifice a little bit of potential Minotaur just to get this done, and then immediately go back as soon as this tournament ends and I get my free summon from this. But yeah, like I mentioned, for myself, Glakecat of the Meltwater would be the #1 most wanted from this pool. I would definitely take a duplicate Pythion for the sake of Faction Guardians, or Wixwell, same thing, but Valencia would be cool, and then Prevo would be cool as well. So those three would be like the ones I'd be hoping for the most if I get a legendary. I haven't gotten a legendary from one of these in a while, and I'm not really expecting this one to be the case. Honestly, I'm in the camp where I would be a little bit disappointed if I did get Predator. I think he's kind of cool and niche, but I don't think he's as strong as you'd hope he would be, particularly with the Hunter's Gaze ability. The AoE I've seen does a reasonable amount of damage, but the Hunter's Gaze single target just doesn't quite hit the way you kind of want it to. It should have been like the Nice Killer type ability, where you just throw it, ignore block damage, and you just murder a Nice in Form 2, but that's not really the case, unfortunately. But yeah, in terms of Epics, I'm still at +3 on Rector Wrath, so I would love to get her from that if I do get an Epic, but the odds of that are pretty slim because there's 16 Epics in the pool. But anyways, yeah, that's my plan. I will be participating in this summon pool. My recommendation here is that if you have the bandwidth, there is no other major event going on right now. There's no Fusion, there's no Titan event. So if you can farm Sand Devil and or the Shogun's Grove for a few days, this is definitely a good use of your time, especially if you're looking for some of these epics and or you want a chance to get some of the legendaries, particularly Predator. Again, depending upon what you want from your account. If you don't want to spend the money in the Champion Pass, you could save yourself $40, or I think that's how much it costs. So that could be a great value in terms of just doing some Sand Devil or some Shogun's Grove. That is going to do it for the Force Summon Pool. Let me know in the comment section down below what your plan is relative to this summon pool. As always, if you did find this video helpful, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel. And feel free to hit the subscribe button down below as well, if and only if you're enjoying the content overall on this channel, for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.